shake your dreams from your hair. I'm already there, right beside you. So please, don't hide, just say I'll be there if it breaks, right beside you. Suddenly I know now how it feels. I no longer have to beg or steal. I can stand out on this higher ground, where love is just a sound, where love is...
Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday morning. Welcome to Coffee and Cresties. I'm Crystal from Gecko Diva, and I'm rocking a Starbucks tea this morning. So there seems to be a little potential bug going around in my house. So we're rocking the tea. We don't have coffee today, so no milk, no coffee. So it's thank goodness for the honey citrus mint tea over at Starbucks. Because it's delicious and it's very soothing. So highly recommend. I think the nickname for it is medicine ball. When I first heard about it, and it definitely helps soothe when you're not feeling very good. It's been a pretty busy week. I know we talked about it last week when we were getting into fall and pumpkin spice, and I was at Starbucks and I saw the pumpkin spice lattes are out. I'm back. Okay, well, this is the problem when you're doing it by yourself, I guess. You don't have anyone to hold the fort when you lose internet connection. So this has just been a great morning. We're just gonna roll with it. Sorry, everybody, that I kind of went MIA for a second. I swear I'm still here. Um, yeah, I was just saying that, the weather's been weird. We've been having some like warm days and really cool nights, which has been refreshing, but it's a little, disappointing that fall's around the corner and then, you realize all the snow is going to be coming soon. Well, it's not something that I look forward to anyways. But the great thing about fall is that means that we have our big reptile show that's coming up. So CRBE is coming up and it is on September 14th and 15th. And as most of you know, I'll be vending, and this will be my first CRBE with Gecko Diva. And my husband is also going to be vending this year. So he's going to be with his VIP Morse booth, and we're going to be side by side. So definitely come out. It's going to be a good time. Come and visit us. I plan on bringing 27 geckos, I think is where I was at when I was doing the inventory of animals that I was going to bring to the expo. I also have merch that's coming. So there's hats being done right now. So there'll be different colors of Gecko Diva hats, and we're going to have shirts as well available at the booth. So it'll be a good time. So let's see who's joined us and who wondered where I disappeared to for a few minutes once my internet shut down. We got Tammy. Good morning, Tammy. Welcome. Hope you're having a good Sunday. And then we have Cassandra in the house. Good morning, Cassandra. And we got the fat man in the house as well. Good morning, Chris. How are you? And Natty is in the house as well. Good morning. Uh, I guess you popped on when I popped back on because you're saying welcome back. I mean, it happens, right? This is what it is. And then when you're doing a live show, I mean, you can't control these things, right? So if it's pre-recorded, then you can kind of, you know, be able to edit that out later. But when it's live, I mean, it's real life and you just kind of adapt and adjust. And then there's my hubby in this morning. Good morning, G. So yeah, we're doing the other thing too with falls. We're doing back to school shopping. So yes, we have children, which means we now have to go and get a whole bunch of different supplies. Thankfully, our school's not as demanding, so we don't have to get a whole bunch of like we don't have the list, that's like double sided and or like 2 pagers where you have to get all these things. We've been really lucky about that, where we only have select few items and it's mainly back to school clothing. So that's what I'm going to be doing after this. I'm going to enjoy the tea with you guys, and then we're going to be going to do some back to school shopping. We have aquatic moose in the house. Good morning. Yeah. And Gerald says they won't use it. So this is the thing. Like, we always tend to go a little bit overboard. I don't know about anybody else who's listening who gets to go through this back to school stuff. But always end up going overboard. And usually, I find that the list that we were getting in the past were way more things that they actually needed, and half the stuff just sits in the cupboard and they don't use it. Yeah, we still have pencils from last year. And I think that that's just what it is, right? So they're like, "Oh, we need pencils." I'm like, "Well, we still have pencils from last year, so we don't have to buy pencils this year." So yeah, good, exciting times. Pumpkin spice back to school and cool weather ahead. I'm wearing my little sweater, but it's also because I'm not feeling that great today. So, definitely glad that I'm getting this out of my system before CRBE, because this last couple years, and Gerald can attest to this, where we had made plans to go at least as just as guests to go in and check it out, and I've had to back out because for whatever reason, every weekend on CRB weekend I end up being sick. So fingers crossed, now that I have a booth and that I've invested in this show, that everything will be smooth sailing and I'll have an awesome weekend. I know we have a lot of people coming down. A lot of people from the States. There's Paul from Large Marge Morphs. Chris, Fat Man, is coming down as well. We got Steven over from Leviathan is coming down with Shane Kelly from Small Town Exotics, and they're doing the Red Line road trip. So they're doing some filming, and yeah, it's going to be, I'm sure, I believe I'm missing a few other people. Some people have kind of toyed with the idea of coming down, so I'm not 100% sure who else is coming. But if you check on their Instagram page, and or on their website, there's a list of special guests, because there are a lot of other special guests as well that they have confirmed that are going to be there. I'm just naming the ones that we personally know and talk to. Yeah, he says the tarantula guy. So yeah, Richard from Tarantula Collective, who I'm very excited to meet. I don't know if any of you guys have spiders. I got into tarantulas as pets myself. Because it's funny. I had a fear of spiders, and then I started watching a lot of Tarantula Cat, and just one day I said, well, I think I'm just going to try to get over this fear of spiders by having spiders, and ordered a bunch of tarantulas from so Tarantula Canada. And they're a lot of fun. I mean, it's kind of I'm not holding them, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm still kind of getting used to it. And I know a few of you probably would say tarantula is probably not your best first spider to get, and go for the jumping spiders, which I still need to get, by the way. I know Natty, we've been talking about it. I need to get a jumping spider. But yeah, Tarantula Collective was another big one that I was watching a lot when I went down the rabbit hole to learn more about spiders. So it definitely, the production of his videos, like the quality and everything that he puts out is pretty phenomenal. And I think that, like, I know Tarantula Cribs is there, and I know that he does videos and promotion for them. So if anyone who's into spiders is looking into getting who likes tarantula cribs, they will be there at the expo. I know myself, I use them and they're awesome, but it's a little bit more pricey when you're looking to bring them in from the States. So it's kind of nice that there'll be some options to purchase them at the expo. And Cassandra says, I'm not big on, I'm not a big name, but I'll be stopping in our vacation. Yes. Awesome. Well, I hope anyone who is around can stop by and come say hello. I think it's pretty awesome to be able to meet, you in person. I know that, at the Ottawa Expo, I met Tammy in person. That was pretty awesome. And, yeah, like it's neat to be able to talk to people in person and not just through the chat and put a face to a name. It's going to be a good weekend. It'll be a good time. So I look forward to it. Aside from that, this week, I don't have any tea. There's not anything that's been coming up. What I would like to ask though, and I will probably post something on Instagram about this, is I think with busy lives and it's really hard to kind of, do two things. It's hard to be able to go and promote and post your stuff and also be able to keep on top of everything else that's being posted. I find that I do miss things sometimes. And it'd be really awesome if I can have people send me things when they come across it. So if you come across something that's really, positive that popped up that week in the community and you'd like to have it shared, just send me a DM and I'll include it and we'll talk about it in our positivity segment, because I think it's really important to be able to kind of promote the good stuff that's happening in the hobby. And sometimes I just don't come across it on time and I'll see it maybe after the podcast or, it gets missed. So I'll post something that you guys can kind of reply to, and I'll keep it in a highlight under the posit. So I have a highlight on the Instagram. It's called Positivity, and I'll keep it there. So you can go in there anytime and add things and just kind of respond to it, or you can just send it to me by DM, and that'd be awesome. Then we can start sharing those things. Yeah, Tammy, it was great meeting you. And Natty says, Tangled in Webs is Canada's tarantula cribs distributor now. Okay. No, that's good to know. I didn't know that. And I believe Tangled in Webs is one of the other vendors that's there, because I think that they're the ones that are beside, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they're vending beside Tarantula Cribs, which would make sense. Because I know there's usually a couple of the spider vendors at the expo. Awesome. So, aside from that, I think, we don't have positivity today. So, what we'll do is we'll jump right into our next segment and bring on our guest. Good morning, Richelle. How are you?
Morning. Good. How are you?
Doing great. It looks sunny over there.
Yeah, it's actually, there's not a cloud in the sky. It's really
So
nice.
tell everyone, where are you located?
I live in St. John, New Brunswick, on the east coast of Canada, right by the ocean. Like a 5-minute walk from the harbor, so it's just right. It's really pretty.
That must be so nice.
Yeah.
You can probably pack up some geckos and go take some nice picturesque pictures.
I've done that.
Have you?
Up, down,
That's awesome. I don't blame you one bit. I would totally do it. Take advantage of that.
Yeah.
So has it been pretty warm out there? I know we talked before, and then, how's the weather been for because I guess like shipping wise and stuff.
Yeah, we have had some breaks in the heat for sure. But then we've had like these crazy heat waves. And kind of like what you were mentioning earlier, it gets cooler at night now, which is nice. I went out last night and it was pretty chilly, but I don't mind the cold more. I don't like the heat very much.
Have you guys been hit with a lot of that rain from like the residual hurricanes and stuff? Because I know we've gotten quite a lot of rain where we are in Ontario. So I don't know.
Mhm.
I haven't been keeping track of it if it's been going off into like maritime area.
No, honestly, I can't really remember if well, I mean, we get rain here all the time, so I'm not sure
Yeah.
if it's due to that or if it's just normal um St. John weather. We moved recently, and at our old place, whenever it rained, our basement flooded.
Oh no.
Um, so I haven't noticed the rain as much because I don't have to bucket it out of my basement.
Oh geez. Yeah, that wouldn't be fun.
Yeah.
Aquatic Moose is commenting on the jazz. Yeah, oh, you try to keep a little, jazzy with our little intro songs. So tell everybody, how did you get into it? How long have you been into Cresties and why Cresties?
Yeah, for sure. So ever since I was a little kid, like I loved reptiles. I had a huge love for them, mainly snakes, actually, though. I would bring garter snakes home all the time, and it would scare the crap out of my mom. Um, and I always knew I wanted reptiles, but I wasn't even sure, like, really how to get one. Um, my ex that I was with really, really, really hated them. So I moved out of my parents' house because my mom was like, "You are not having them here." And then my ex that I lived with did not want any. We broke up in 2020, right when COVID was going on, when pretty much everyone else got into uh, crested geckos as well. I had always liked crested geckos. Like whenever I saw a picture of them, I was like, that is such a cool animal. But I assumed that since it was cool looking, that it would be hard to take care of. And I was like, there's no way I can get one of those. There's like,
Yeah.
you know. So when I was talking to somebody online that had crested geckos in one of those like groups and stuff, and they're like, they're actually like not too difficult to care for. And I was like, okay. So I started doing my research and I was like, okay, I'm ready to get one. So I got my first one in 2020 and I've been keeping since. This is my third season. I bred leopard geckos as well, but I realized that just how much I love crested geckos, and I put all my time and effort into the crested geckos. So that's where we're at right now. But
So you're a
yeah,
COVID baby like me.
yeah, I know. I
Always
didn't
had an
realize how
interest,
many people got into it during that time.
right?
And I was like, oh, it's like it was just the timing. It just worked out that way. But
Yeah,
yeah.
it's really wild how much of an influence that time period had on just the pet market in general. Like
Mm.
even dogs, like so many people got into buying dogs. The
Oh
prices of
yeah.
dogs skyrocketed. And you could get something that was like a mixed breed with like 3, 4 different breeds in it, and you'd be paying 2 grand for this dog.
Yeah.
It was wild.
I
Wait
know.
lists and stuff. So it happens, right? I'm sure, like, I mean, we hear it all the time with other more seasoned breeders where they're saying, there's flows where it goes up and it goes down, and you'll have different, it'll get, really popular, and then you'll kind of like, we're kind of in a downfall right now where the season's
Mhm.
a bit lower, but it is definitely surprising how many people got into it at such a short period of
I
time.
know. Yeah.
And I agree with you. Like when we started with snakes too. So like my husband does ball pythons, and that was the first reptile that we really got into that we decided we wanted to breed. And I got my gecko was just kind of like a little pet that I just brought in, and he was like, "Where'd this come from?" And when you do the research, it's very surprising how much simpler they are to care for compared to
Mhm.
other lizards, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, no, that's awesome. So what was the first gecko that you got?
I can't remember. It was either my leopard gecko Gus or it was another crested gecko. I got them around the same time.
Okay.
My first crested gecko was a little I knew nothing about morphs when I got my
Okay.
first one. It was a little flame uh
Okay.
gecko, and I didn't even realize it until like after the fact, but this gecko was given to me way too small,
Oh
especially for a
no.
first time keeper. He was like 2 grams maybe.
Oh wow, yeah.
Um, and he or she, I'm not sure, but he did well. Once I decided that I wanted to get into breeding, as much as I liked my first gecko, I did rehome him to a pet home because he was not very visually appealing, but I mean, he was still cute. All crested geckos are cute, but I
Yeah.
wanted to save my space for some more quality animals that I
Yeah,
was
which makes
breeding.
which
So,
makes sense, right? You only have so much room.
yeah,
So I always ask everyone where the name comes from their for their business, and I think yours is pretty like
pretty
self-explanatory.
self-explanatory.
But
Yeah.
why did you choose to name the business with your name as opposed to coming up with some wacky or creative, like different,
Yeah.
like
I love puns so much, and I tried so hard to think of something that like I liked that wasn't this, but it kind of I ended up going with Richelle's Reptiles because I mean it's my name, so people will know who I am, but
yeah,
also it leaves the reptiles open ended unless in case I want to get into any other species in the future. Because I do
that's true.
have like I'm not 100% sure if I'm gonna breed ball pythons or not. Maybe if the market comes back up a little bit. I don't want to overwhelm myself, but I do have ball pythons that I may. So I mean it kind of is all encompassing the
Yeah,
name.
well, reptiles leaves it open ended, so you can
Yeah.
add other animals to it.
Yeah.
And I think like it is difficult. I think the easiest ones, to be honest, to come up with some ridiculous names were the ball python businesses because you'll see, and I'm
Oh,
sure my husband could put some in there, and you'll see like grandpa's balls or like grab these balls or like some all
I
these like
know.
crazy
It's so
names that
I
are so
love those. It's so
inappropriate and they're
funny.
hilarious.
I know.
You don't
With
see it
no
so much in
context. It's like,
geckos.
ah. Oh, I know. It's like, yeah. I yeah.
Well, we had to I did a shirt the first season that we were vending with VIP Morphs, and I wanted to do something funny for my husband. So on the back of the shirt, I wrote, "Ask me about my balls." And then when I did the first thing, like
Sorry.
the first mock-up about it, we were kind of looking, it's like, people might take offense to that. So then I put a little snowflake beside it, and then below I wrote ball pythons, that is.
Yeah.
So to kind
No,
of
it's fine.
clarify.
Yeah, 'cause without like with context, hilarious.
Yeah.
Without a little bit confused.
Yeah,
It's like, what?
people might find it a little creepy, if if they don't know. I mean, he's wearing it at a reptile show and he's selling ball pythons. So I think
Yeah.
for the most part people would understand. But if he's wearing the shirt just outside when we're going to Walmart to do groceries, which he does, like you don't want to walk around with the shirt in the back says "Ask me about my balls,"
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's so
unless you want to
funny.
have a bunch of weirdos, at Walmart come up to you and start
Oh
asking
yeah,
you
you
about
never
them.
know. There might be
Aquatic Moose says D's balls pythons. Yeah, there's some pretty
That's
clever
funny.
names out there for sure. Yeah, so are you planning on maybe expanding into other things other than Cresties? I mean, you said you had ball pythons, so there might be
Yeah,
some
I'm not
projects there.
100% sure. I know that I love ball pythons as just animals. Like they're like aside from sometimes the picky eaters, which fortunately I have not experienced with my current collection, knock on
Yeah.
wood. I just love their demeanor. They're just so nice. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna breed them or not, but they're definitely like pets that I plan on keeping. I have some other species of geckos. I have one pair of Uris. I can't say the the second one.
Yeah.
It's the one that starts with a V. Um,
Yeah.
those guys, and then I have a pair of gargoyle geckos as well. Um,
Okay.
I have a tokay gecko as a pet because why not get an animal that hates me so much?
So how do you like the tokays? Because my husband was looking at getting one for his ball python room.
They they're absolutely stunning, and I mean, I don't know. Like there are, if you get one as a baby and it's captive bred, like you do have a all right shot of like taming them down if you
Yeah.
have the patience and extra time for that. Mine's more so display animal at this time. Hates my guts, but I mean, she's just so beautiful that it's like, you know what, you can be mean. You're so gorgeous. I'm
Yeah.
want to work
D-
on like she's being upgraded soon because she grows pretty fast. I always like now that I don't breed leopard geckos, I forget how quickly the bug eaters grow
yeah.
compared to the crested geckos. Like,
Yeah.
ugh. But yeah,
You,
so I can't
do
remember.
you did the female tokays, do they make the same noise, like that tokay sound, or is that more reserved to the males?
Well, I mean, she's definitely very vocal,
Okay.
but I'm also I'm not 100% confirmed female, but like I'm almost positive. Like I looked at her when she was smaller because it was easier to wrangle her. Um, so I think it's a female. I haven't seen pores, but I haven't been able to check recently.
Okay.
But I haven't heard her make the like the
The little
tokay.
tokay sound. Yeah.
Yeah, but I've
Tokay.
heard her. Yeah, it's so funny. They're like little Pokemon.
Mm.
Um, yeah, I've heard her make lots of noises, but not that. So I'm not sure actually. Um,
Well,
yeah,
that's
I like
cool.
having her. I don't think that I initially was thinking of maybe breeding them, but I decided that for right now, no. She's a little too much for me, I think. I mean, I love her, but she's not very nice.
You have to wrangle a whole bunch of angry tokay
Oh
babies.
my gosh, if I had escapees, oh, she escaped one time. Like, well, I opened her enclosure and she jumped out and just, yeah, she wanted to do a whole run of the reptile room.
I
And
bet.
she was hard to catch. I got bit a lot.
So I'm gonna pop your logo up here.
Mm.
Um, did you make the logo, or did you have someone make the logo? How did you come up with the logo?
I made it using some like photo editing and I don't know if you
Awesome.
in Canva. I used that to kind of put it all together.
Cool.
The geckos, those are pictures that I've taken of my geckos that I
Okay.
used that I like turned into a drawing using I can't remember which app. I do plan in the future to get a more permanent logo. This one,
Okay.
I had my other logo that had leopard geckos on it, and I don't breed
Okay.
leopard geckos anymore. So I wanted to update the species. So I made that. It took me forever, but I'm not 100% in love with it. So I want to get a new one eventually, but
Yeah.
it works for now. It looks cute.
I guess that was going to be my next question, was when you're saying you're looking to update it. It's funny that you mentioned the other one had leopard geckos and you switched it to this one, because the name Richelle Reptiles was to be all encompassing if you change
Yeah,
reptiles, but your logo says that you deal with crested
I
and
know.
gargoyle.
Yeah. Exactly, which is like almost, I mean, it's not a lie. I do have a pair of
Yeah.
gargoyles, but they haven't laid any fertile eggs for me. So so for right now, it's just crested geckos, but I'm hoping that Sriracha, the gargoyle, will lay. I'm not sure.
Oh, I mean, it's still fairly new, right? Like you're saying, you're in your third
Yeah.
season, so you want to still kind of get your feet wet and like try to
Oh,
figure out exactly where, what you're wanting to focus on. I know it took
for
me a little
sure.
bit of time too to really narrow down what I wanted to focus on. I mean,
Mhm.
I've kind of put myself in a corner calling myself Gecko Diva, because I'm very limited now to what I'm going to focus on. But um, I know I don't have any plans to expand on what I'm doing. So
Mhm.
it works for me. But
Yeah.
like everyone kind of is a bit different. I know my husband does ball pythons, but his is VIP morphs. So I know he's listening. Maybe he'll expand into something. He'll tell me no, and he'll be like, no, it's only going to be that. But then he had his clutch of boas this year. So he's
Okay.
expanding because he'll have boas at CRB this year for sale. And now we've been talking about carpet pythons.
Oh, carpet
Yeah.
pythons are so cool. Like
Yeah.
even just like the normal type. Beautiful.
Yeah. What is it? But logos can change easier than names. 100% agree. And you
True.
should definitely rebrand. I did one this week where I wanted to shift around the look of the Instagram page and the look of my highlights. And it's a lot easier to kind of rebrand and change around your logo or your design concept and your colors than it is to have to switch your name completely and then have to
Mhm.
re-promote a new business under a new, well, the same business under a new name.
Yeah. Because then it's
And
like,
he's
wait,
saying,
is
gotta
this
find
someone
a
I never heard
female.
of?
He's talking here about the carpet python. Not very common in Canada, especially for the genetics that he's looking for. Um, we're having a bit of a tough time trying to find. Maybe we'll find one in September, but
Mhm.
definitely having a bit of a tough time trying to find the right um, female carpet python for the male if he does venture that project.
Mhm.
Um, where did these pictures go? Oh, let me just bring them up. I was going to bring up your geckos and they disappeared because I got kicked out. There they are. Awesome. So let's start talking about your project. So you sent me pictures of your top 5 favorites that you're
Yes.
working with right now. So let's start with this one. Who's this one and what's
Sure.
the detail?
That's Azalea. Um, I purchased her from House of Geckos, or I guess House of Fauna. I think she just changed her name.
You changed her name. That's one part. Not a huge change, but it's still
No,
everyone calls her
yeah,
House for the most part.
pretty much, yeah. She was produced by Rampage Rocks out of Yogurt and S'mores,
Okay.
and I knew I needed to have her because like she is a red, but she's a like this is as dark as she fires up. It's like a very like light red and the cream is just so pretty. And I want to I got another gecko from uh I got a gecko from Rampage Rex that I'm really excited for him to hit breeding weight to meet her because I think that they will pair very well. But she's
Awesome.
so cute. She is a bowl cleaner. She is oh my goodness, she's like a little potato.
Yeah,
She
she loves her
lost her
food.
tail as soon as she came here. She was fine the entire shipping duration, but when she arrived and I opened her bin, she was like, no more tail.
Oh no.
I know. I was like, no, but she's still adorable little potato.
Yeah. No, she's lovely. I love that hypo on red, right? I love the pinks and
Yeah.
that nice kind of pink corally kind of color they can get sometimes. Are
Yeah.
you so the male that you're pairing her with, base pattern is that male? Is it in the same scheme? Or are you looking lavender
He's a
yellow?
lavender.
Lavenders? Okay.
Yeah. I've I've done like a little bit of research. My favorite color is pink. So
Okay.
thank you. So when I found out that pink crested geckos existed, I was like, holy cow, do I need to work towards that. I
Yeah.
did some researching on Fringe Morph's pink line and kind of how they came about it, and I know they there's a lot more than just this, but
Yeah.
pairing the lighter pink or the lighter red to a lavender base can sometimes bring
Yeah.
out like lighter pinks and stuff. So I'm I'm hoping, but I mean I don't think it's gonna happen in one season. I think I'm gonna have to work at that, but
Yeah, it seems like almost like a hypo stacking, right? That they were doing because I read
yeah.
that was the first thing I got into as well. Like I had bought a couple geckos, and then when I started looking at different projects, the pink project was one that really drew me in because, like you, I also really like pink.
Yeah.
so I was like all about it, right? And it was kind of neat to see how they were doing it with the reds and the lavenders and stacking the hypo. It kind of
Mhm.
changed a little for me when I started getting into yellows. And the great thing about yellows too is you have the hypo in yellow as well. So I
Mhm.
just said, well, hypo is the project then. It's not pink. So then I can still do pink stuff and lavender
Okay, yeah.
stuff and yellow stuff.
Yeah. When people ask me like what projects I'm working on, I'm like, I'm a little bit all over the place at this moment. This is the one I'm most excited for.
Yeah.
I had a really bad, I mean, I still kind of do. I'm getting better at it. But I had a bad habit of buying any gecko just because I was like, I like that one
Yeah.
without having a project for it. So I'm like, okay, now I need to downsize because my plans have changed. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh no.
Hi, Spitfire. Nice. I hadn't seen you earlier this morning. Thanks for joining in. She says, love the frog butts.
I
I
know they're so
personally,
funny.
it's sad when they lose their tail, but I'm not overly upset about it when it's the female that's losing her tail because, I always get stressed out, especially with the heavier girls, if they're not sleeping in the right position, that they'll
Oh
cause
yeah,
an
no.
issue right at the base of the tail. So for me, I'm like, oh, one less thing I have to worry about. And even in breeding, like I've never had it happen, knock on wood. Um, but I have heard some situations where they'll lose a tail when they're pairing as well, when the
Mhm.
male is trying to lock. So it's like one less thing you have to kind of worry about.
Yeah.
No, she's really pretty. I really like her. So the plan for her is to pair with lavenders and try to do some more pinks and lavenders, right?
Yeah, get some light reds and some lavenders I'd be happy with. Um, ugh, she's so pretty. I'm so happy I have her. She's probably my favorite. Don't like I've had other ones for longer, but I don't know. She's special to me. I was like, she's so beautiful. I'm obsessed with her.
And who's this one?
That's Aster, and he is the boy that I'm planning on pairing with her. Um, she
Okay.
comes from no, he was produced by Rack Attack Reptiles, who is no longer in the business, unfortunately. But
Mhm.
I purchased him from Rampage. I can't remember the names of his parents off the top of my head, but he comes from Tara Lee's Cresties Panda lines,
Okay.
those genetics. Um, I have some geckos that I'm like, I think that you're lavender, but
Mhm.
this guy, I'm like, yeah, like he's also so pretty. He has a little bit of floppy tail when he came to me, but he's not. It doesn't seem to be progressing. I gave him a lot of options for him to um, sit
To-
properly. He's sitting at around 30 grams right now, and I'm just like,
Okay.
I need you to grow, especially since Azalea is huge.
Yeah. And with the Tara Lee lines too, you're going to get a lot of that white, pattern, right? And that's
Yeah,
a lot of white splotches.
it's kind of hard to see in the photo, but like he has the cream coming up on his sides, but there's also like white in the cream. Like it's just like,
Yeah.
oh,
You get like that
love him.
3D effect with the colors.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm just I'm I'm very happy with how my collection is coming right now, just because uh, it's been a few years since I started, and when I look at the breeders that I started with, like,
Mhm.
love them, but I mean, probably shouldn't have been breeding them. Like, they're more on like lower end quality scale.
Yeah.
I kind of, and I'm happy that I'm finally, getting where my goals are, and I'm like just so excited about future preparing and stuff.
Yeah, and that's the thing I find too, like the the game has kind of come up a level, right? With all reptiles in general when you're looking at since COVID and stuff, where different morphs have become, or I guess not morphs, but like phenotypes and patterns and so on have become more widely available. So
Mhm.
individuals who are working on projects have more access to higher end animals, And then, when you're looking at a market where you don't wanting to flood the market or contribute to adding more lower end animals, then you have to be a little bit more picky, and you have to,
Yeah.
be a little bit more strategic in what you're wanting to plan for your breeding projects. So it's kind of nice to hear, someone who's kind of come into it and who's still fairly new, that is thinking that way, right? And it's not just like, I'm just going to breed because I want to, and you
Yeah.
know, you actually have a plan going into it, which is kind of nice.
I'm really hoping to go for like quality over quantity. Oh,
Natty's just saying
Maddie.
you've come so far with your projects. So happy with you. So happy for you and proud of you. That's really nice, Natty.
Thanks, girl.
Some 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 love coming from another fellow maritime breeder.
Yes. Yeah. We're pretty tight knit over here.
I bet. And now we got a nice doll. I like this doll.
Yeah, this is Buckshot. I also got him from Rack Attack. He was produced by Northern Gecko with the
Okay.
Lily Exotic lines. For most people who know Dals probably know McDreamy from Exquisite.
Yep.
He's half siblings to him.
Okay.
He is gorgeous. He's an absolute psycho. Um, when I open his bin, he's just like gone. Um, he's a great breeder, wastes absolutely no time. um, I paired him with two girls this season, and one of them is just insanely good at laying. She has given me so many babies, and I'm kind of overwhelmed with the amount of babies. But it's their kids are really interesting because sometimes they'll hatch like with the dark spots, and then they lighten up, like kind of
Okay.
on his dorsal he has like the lighter spots. I can't
Yeah.
remember the name of them, probably should know. But
Like
yeah, he
olive
was my
spots. They're more kind of
yeah,
like
I think
greenish.
that's what it's called. What else?
Yeah.
Yeah. He what was I gonna say? I can't remember. Oh, he was one of the first geckos that I bought that was like a higher end gecko.
Okay.
And I got him when the market was not like it is right now. So I paid too much money for him.
An
I love
arm and
him.
a leg for this gecko.
And I was like, oh my goodness, just seeing what he would be priced at now makes me want to cry. But that's
Yeah.
okay. I don't plan on getting rid of him.
But he knows his job, so he was a good investment
No,
because
he
he's,
was.
producing these hatchlings for you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm like, ever since I saw a Dalmatian as well, I was like, that is so cool. I have a few of them. A few are even ready to breed next season that I'm excited for. But he was definitely the like staple of my projects that I started with. I don't want to overbreed him though, because I don't want to get too many of his offspring out there, especially since
Yeah.
he's related to McDreamy, who I feel like most people with Adele like have a McDreamy baby. So
Yeah.
it's I'm trying to be a lot more picky with the pairings. But I have everything is a holdback right now until
Mhm.
they until I can see what sex they are, and then
Mhm.
see what's going on, or if they just like absolutely explode. Then I'm like, I gotta
Well,
get
that's the other
spots.
thing, that you have to kind of consider, right? Especially with dolls, like Cresties
Mhm.
as a whole, their pattern and everything kind of gets better and better and
Yeah,
more apparent as they age. So you'll see more, a spreading of white pattern, or more like snowflakes, or bigger portholes, or in this
yeah,
case for dolls, the spots can come up later on as they're getting bigger. And then it's something that
Mhm.
might not look like it's going to be that
Yeah,
crazy, could all of a sudden, through a span of a couple
Mhm.
months, explode with spots, right?
Yeah. And that's why like the lineage is so like important, I guess, like with that. But I've seen some baby dolls that like kind of, I mean, they look nice, but it's nothing like that makes me go wow, and then I see their
Yeah.
progression and I'm like, holy cow. I was like, where did you
Yeah.
come from? Where'd those spots come from? Well, they're so cool. They're kind of like my other main project that I'm working on. But I say that I'm working on certain projects, and like I am, but there's just so many of them that I'm trying to really I'm trying to focus more on what I want, because I just love them all. It's hard.
So here's a question I have for you, and I'm going to bring my experience because I'm curious about this. So
Sure.
I have my male Falcor, who I work in my pixel project. So he's the one that's been producing the visual pixels, and he's a complete spaz. Like he's not one that you can hold. Like you can eventually get to holding him to be able to calm him down and take some pictures. It takes some time to do it because he just kind of fine gives in. But usually when you open the bin and you're going to feed him or whatever, he'll like run around
Yeah.
and like just be a complete nut. And one, I find it completely wild to me that he hasn't lost his tail yet, given how spazzy he
Mm.
can be. But two, I've noticed some of his babies tend to be little spazzes like him, where they can be a little bit wiry. So have you noticed that with a gecko, where you have the male a bit kind of wiry, where that's coming into the babies too? I'm just curious if it's
I
just
don't know. Like a lot of the babies that I have from him right now are still like really itty bitty.
yeah.
But like I had some geckos like hatch in the past that were much easier to hold, but
Hmm.
his kids, I don't know if it's genetic at all.
Yeah.
His kids, they just gone. I actually like I have to like hold them, like I have to drain, like put the stopper in the bathtub and sit in the
Yeah.
bathtub because they're just like gone, and I don't want to lose them in my reptile room. They're so bad.
Yeah.
But the holdback that I have from him from last season, Kenobi, he or she, I'm not sure yet. Fingers crossed for she. We're
Mhm.
not sure. She she doesn't like to be handled very much,
Yeah.
and I'm not sure if it's like, so I didn't send a picture of this gecko, but Genesis, he's a lily white that I got shortly after Buckshot, and or no, it was before Buckshot, and I didn't have very many crested geckos at the time, and he was my first lily that I've ever seen in person. So I was
Mhm.
obsessed with this gecko. I held him all the time, and I got him as a baby, and he's the calmest gecko ever now.
Yeah.
I got him as an adult, and I think like he was a part of a large collection before and probably just
Mhm.
didn't have as much one-on-one time um,
Gotcha.
to calm down. And I've attempted, like he will allow me to hold him, but kind of like what you were saying about your pixel gecko, that
Yeah.
it's hard to take pictures of him because he just goes.
Yeah.
Um, I kind of lost my train of thought there.
I always find it curious because I've heard some breeders in previous interviews and stuff that will say that they're trying to focus on personality traits as well, where it's like, oh, trying to work with calmer geckos and kind of incorporating that aspect into a breeding project, which I always found really interesting. Because if you think about other animals, like when you're looking at breeding dogs, for instance,
Oh yeah, yeah,
temperament is a huge part of that, right? Same with
absolutely.
horses. Like I grew up with horses, and when you're
Okay.
looking to breed horses, you're like, well, I'm not going to choose the crazy stallion because I don't who has a, uh who seems to pass that down on to all his foals. So it's been a new concept that I've heard where people are starting to bring it up in relation
Mhm.
to
Yeah, I have
crested
heard it a
gecko,
few times. Yeah.
which I find really interesting. So I'm here and I'm keeping notes because I'll keep track. I'm like, okay, I know which one of my breeders are not the best to handle, and then
Mhm.
I'm trying to see if there's any, and it's been a very low percentage, to be honest, with the ones that I've produced here, where I'm having so far that males produced in pairings, over 20 geckos, and then we're talking about maybe two that are
Okay.
not handleable geckos, right?
Yeah.
So that's the odds that I'm working with right now. But I always like when I hear that opportunity to ask somebody else to see
Mhm.
what their experience is, I find it really interesting.
Yeah, he's something else.
So is he being? So that's just a straight Dalmatian. There's no like pattern Dalmatian project with him. Like you're just
No,
working in.
just the there are some pattern geckos with spots that I think are cool. For me, they're not really my cup of tea.
Yeah.
So he is like he does fire up like a reddish color. It's hard to
Okay.
take pictures of him, but he's got like brindle pattern to him. But that's kind of as far as I go. I typically go with the phantoms and the like patternless brindle or tiger for my dowels.
Yeah.
But if a really nice pattern gecko has a couple spots, like that's not going to make me be sad
Yeah.
or anything.
Tommy says that's been a huge factor for me when I breed down the road. Is one of the first questions I ask. What is their temperament? It's important to me. Yeah, and not everyone's about wanting to wrangle. I mean, you'll get a couple of them that are going to be at that. That's what it is, and especially when they're little,
Yeah.
it can be very eventful sometimes when you're breeding geckos.
Yeah. The lady that I paired him with was
Is this the new project, Natty? Are you getting into pattern dowels?
oh, let me know if you need a loan. Just kidding. But no, I paired him with so that's buckshot. I paired him with a gecko Olive. She's like probably the calmest gecko I own, so maybe the babies will hopefully take after mom.
Yeah.
When it comes to temperament, because he did not get the memo that he doesn't bite or anything, but he's just gone. He's so fast.
Yeah. And so tell me about this one.
So that's
So pretty.
Nevada. She was produced by Tropical Imports out of Nacho and Tequila.
Okay.
I just absolutely love her. She was beautiful when I got her, but like her glow up has been just so nice. Her head, honestly, I have pictures of her that her head looks better than this. Like it's not the best angle of her actually, but
Yeah.
her head is like, I don't know, it's pretty massive, and just like she's so pretty. I love the dark base on her. I would like to. She's not ready to breed yet. She's the slowest grower of any gecko that I've ever purchased. She doesn't touch bugs, but I've been recently like adding more like cricket powder and like I use OB's Boost. It's
Okay.
a black soldier fly larva, just like powder. And I put that in the Pangea to give her a little more protein because she won't
Yeah.
eat, she won't touch bugs. But I would like to pair her with a yellow in the future and see if I could maybe get a yellow lily white because they're just, I don't know, so
They're
gorgeous.
my
Like
personal
another
favorite.
level. Yeah, it's like it's another level. I love them so much. Just the light color. Like I do love the contrast with a darker base lily,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
There's
It's
just something about those yellow lilies.
yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. So that's what I'm hoping for right now.
I think you get your little
Well, she
your
can
little collab right
yeah,
there.
she's a lily too. Imagine though, it is a shame that you can't pair a lily to a lily
Yeah.
because of like ethics. Just because sometimes I see a lily and I'm like, those would make some insane kids if but yeah.
Tammy wants you to repeat
Oh,
what your black
it's
soldier fly stuff is that you use.
it's a black soldier fly larva, and I get it from OB's Worms. They're
Okay.
located in Nova Scotia, but they ship Canada wide, and they are excellent. I've purchased from them many times, especially when I had a bearded dragon, and it was 8 bugs all the time. Loved the soldier fly. So they have live ones, and then they also have OB's Boost, which is what I use. It's just the powder. And then they also have another one. I can't remember the name of it, but it's like OB's is great. And the customer service is awesome too. I've spoken with the owner and they're lovely. I'm not sponsored by them, but if you want to, call me. I think we froze.
Are you back? I'm sorry.
That's
I
okay.
don't know what's going on. I swear the internet has been so weird and my phone has been weird. And I know someone mentioned a little while back that there's like these solar flares, but I don't know how long this goes for. But
Oh.
the internet has been so weird lately. I'm sorry.
Oh, good.
Natty's just realizing that that you can't pair. I think this is to the comment of no Lily to Lily.
Yeah.
So
Did
now
you
she's
forget
saying
Nevada
her
was a Lily?
Memphis.
Yes. Yeah. I talk to Natty all the time about my pairs. I'm just like, what do you think of this?
So
She's great.
do you have a male for her, or you're going to be searching for a male for her?
I for now, once she's ready, I do plan to pair her with a yellow. His name's Memphis. What she said.
Solar storms are still happening. Thanks.
In the future, I would like to maybe pair her with a red to see if like what happens there. I'm still kind of like new with all the different genetics, but I've learned about like what base colors are best to pair with each other for specific offspring. But
Yeah.
right now I have a yellow lined up for her when she's ready. He's a big boy, he's ready, but she's probably like 35 grams now, and she doesn't want to gain more weight, but I'm like, you need to put a little more on.
Some of them are a little bit more petite, but yeah, I have a lavender lily white here, and she is taken forever to put on weight, and she actually enjoys eating bugs. She didn't for the longest time though. She's just now being interested in it, and she's like, but for the longest time, she wasn't really interested in her food. Like she'd eat just a little bit, and it took her forever to actually get to where she is now. And my fingers crossed that she'll be good to go for breeding for next season, because this has been like a really long wait to get her there. She was my first lily white or second lily white that I got. So
yeah, she was. Yeah, she has a enclosure in my bedroom because she has a little special treatment.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And then last but not least, we have a fancy yellow over here.
Yeah, that's Memphis there. That's who I'm planning to pair with Nevada when Nevada's ready. The picture is not the best. I haven't had him for too long. He was produced by Daydream Geckos. I wrote down the parents, but I forget. He's probably some Soleil or something.
Okay.
I'm just trying to see. Oh, can't find it.
Yes, high contrast is always hot.
So he was Helga and Soleil.
Okay.
From Daydream. And my brother actually got him for me for Christmas.
It's a Christmas present.
Yeah. He was like, what do you want? I was like, I'm kind of eyeing this gecko that I want. So then he paid for him for me, and I was like, yay.
That's like the best Christmas present ever.
I know. Shout out to Kevin. He's a great little brother. But yeah, I really his yellow is so much more vibrant in person. I feel like pictures don't do him justice. He's so nice.
Yeah.
And he's pretty calm. He's relatively calm. And the white on him is like white.
It pops.
It's so pretty. Yeah, love it.
I love seeing white on a yellow gecko compared to like a cream. Like when you see the difference, like when it's white, it really pops on them.
Yeah, it's like, holy cow, what you doing? He's so cool. I mean, like I love the cream ones too, but definitely I love the contrast with the white. It's so pretty.
Awesome. So do you have any projects that you're wanting to maybe expand and get into, or what's the next step for Richelle's Reptiles?
I think right now, like I'm like really happy with how like my collection is coming along these days, and like kind of what I'm focusing on though. But one thing that I really love that I would love to get a little bit more into would be just like the white spots,
Okay.
or like the snowflakes. I just
Yeah.
find that so pretty. I have a couple geckos that have a little bit, but I've seen pictures of some with like it's more pronounced on them, and it's like, oh, like that's
Just like explosion
absolutely
everywhere.
incredible. I'm like, I
Yeah.
need something like that. I was like, I need that. So that is something that down the road that I would like to look into more. Something that's not crested gecko related. I have a lychee gecko that is so has such a great temperament. Love her so much. Oh, my partner's coming in, so my dog might bark. Just like
It's
um,
okay.
she has a great temperament, and I would really, really love to get a boyfriend for her. Um, oh yeah, no, I
Yeah.
love
Just,
drippy
yeah.
geckos. Drippy geckos have a special place in my heart. Like, love them. But yeah, I would like to get a boyfriend for her. If like, it's just kind of hard. I've noticed that it's really difficult to find males, and I've spoken to a few breeders
Mhm.
for lychee geckos, and I guess they kind of are like temperature sexed somewhat.
Okay.
So the quicker incubation times make females, and a lot of people wanted them to hatch quicker, so it's a lot more females.
Okay.
So mine's a lady, and I've been having a tr- I've been having trouble finding a male that's like a similar locale, because like I don't want,
Yeah.
if I am going to produce lychees, I would like to she's half New Amy and half New Anna,
Okay.
and I don't know if that's how you say it, but I think so.
We'll
um
go with it.
yeah, and I would like to get a male that's one of those, just so like I'm not creating further, like, I guess, like, for a lack of a better word, a mutt. So
Yeah, not mudding the localities for it and kind of more
yeah,
focusing on concentrating the locality. Yeah. I get
yeah.
it.
She's great, and she just started like cycling duds. She just reached breeding rate weight. The only thing that makes me hesitant is they're quite pricey, and
Mhm.
they can also be kind of difficult. Like, either they bond or they want nothing to do with
I
each other.
heard that they can be a little bit difficult to breed and
Yeah.
picky. They kind of are choosy of their partners. So
Yeah.
it's a big investment when you're if you're only looking at doing one pairing where you're buying a male and you're like, if it doesn't work, then what do I do?
I'm also kind of scared of getting another one that's not so friendly, because they are big. If she
Yeah.
was mean, I would be a little bit scared of her. But I got her since she was at the size of my thumb, and now she's a big girl, and I love her. But
Well,
yeah,
that's
no,
awesome.
that's really where I'm at right now. Yeah, that's
So if anyone wants to find you, what are your socials? Where can they find all the stuff that you're posting?
So I'm just Richelle's Reptiles on Facebook, on Instagram, and on TikTok. I don't really use TikTok much, but I'm trying.
Trying to do it.
Yeah, my handle is there. It's at Richelle's Reps, because surprisingly, Richelle's Reptiles was taken. So
Yeah, and it's not Rushell or Rachel like I did. A
yeah.
stupid little the thing auto corrected. And
Oh,
thanks
I
for.
know, it's
I'm
so
sorry about
bad.
that. Thanks for catching it. I'm like, oh, it's an I, not an A.
Yeah, I think that I have like the least common spelling of my name for an already uncommon name, but
Yeah,
all good. Yeah, so no, yeah.
awesome. Well,
Thank you so
thank you
much
very
for having
much
me.
for thanks for joining us and chatting geckos with us on this lovely Sunday morning. And I
Yes.
very much appreciate you coming on. And yeah, go check out you have a link tree on your Instagram. I remember seeing
Yeah.
that. So all your links to all your pages can be found there. So it's a
Yeah.
one-stop shop. If you go over to Richelle's Wraps on Instagram, she has her little link tree and you can find all her other pages there. And yeah, so I'll put you back backstage. And thanks again for hopping on and joining us.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having
And
me.
and
Bye.
I'll see you backstage afterwards.
Sounds good.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Hi, everyone. Well, thank you very much for those of you who stuck around, and for everybody who's going to be joining in after the fact. Thank you for joining in. Thanks, Tammy. Really appreciate it. Thanks for joining us today. Yeah, it was a great show. Great chat with Richelle, and definitely go check out all her socials and her pages. We'll be back next Sunday again. I'll be here. I think it's I want to say it's the last show before the expo, but I don't have a calendar in front of me. But I believe it is the last one, because on expo weekend, we will not be having a Sunday show. But definitely keep an eye out for the next promo, and have an awesome Sunday and a great week. And thank you very much again for joining, and see you next time.
Shake your dreams from your hair. I'm already there, right beside you. So